So, in recent times, the Formula One World Championship has faced a very serious issue, and it honestly needed to be talked about. As the years have been moving, as time has been going, this sport is losing so many old school traditional racetracks. Well, in case you're wondering what traditional racetracks are, old school racetracks may mean, well, we're simply talking about the racetracks that have been around from the beginning of the sport. Well, you could say beginning, but the ones that have stayed on the calendar for a very long time. The purpose-built circuits, the circuits that never move, that are not deconstructed, the ones that are also used for other categories of motorsport. These are the traditional race circuits. And if you're wondering which tracks are likely to be going or are already missing, well, I can guarantee you there is a whole list. Sepang, Hockenheimring, Nürburgring, Istanbul Park. And soon to be joining that list, sadly, Imola, Barcelona, and Spa-Francorchamps. These are all the old school traditional circuits which Formula One has had for a very long time. Others have been gone for many years. Others have been gone for the past 1 or 2 years, and others are soon to be going. But the reason as to why they go is because, firstly, the sport wants to generate more money. Of course, every sport, whether it being basketball, football, cricket, or even hockey, wants to generate more money to invest into different projects. As we know, every single thing you can think of is almost a business at this point, including Formula One. And the sport wants to gain more money off countries that offer a lot more money. And some of these old school racetracks are in countries that don't really offer a whole lot of it. That is why they want to leave and abandon these racetracks. The second reason is to gain a larger audience. Of course, Formula One, in every country you go to around the world, there is no exception at all. This sport is known. Every country you can think of has got at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people that watch the Formula One World Championship. But it's not those numbers that bring a lot to the sport. It's the thousands, millions, maybe billions from, of course, every single country, every single person on planet Earth. And going to countries that offer a larger fan base are where F1 wants to go to, which is interesting because a lot of these countries that have these circuits have got massive fan bases as well. And the third one is probably the most obvious. Of course, tracks like Barcelona, Spa, Imola have not been the best for racing, especially with the cars being so big, almost like spaceships nowadays. They want to improve the racing to make for a more fantastic spectacle, make sure that the fans get what they pay for. But the thing is, it isn't really down to the tracks themselves. It is the cars, as I've already said. These cars are getting bigger and bigger. That is why you see tracks like Monaco not being able to suit these modern cars. If you take a look at the tracks that we already have, Miami and many others, has the racing really improved? Well, that begs a huge question. Tracks like Miami, I am convinced personally that a track like Miami didn't really be included onto the Formula One calendar to improve the racing because, well, 2022, 23, 24, and 25 have not really seen the best races. Miami is more just a, well, cash flowing Grand Prix rather than an entertaining and fascinating spectacle for the calendar and for the fans. Miami has been a flop, if I'm honest, and if they got rid of Miami today, we would not be surprised because nobody would really even care. However, Miami is staying until 2041, so we have to stick with it for the time being. But we need to see better racing, and the track that has given better racing, of course, at least is Las Vegas, despite holding only 2 races since its introduction in 2023. We've seen good races, especially 2023. 2023 was a good one. Same with 2024. I can't complain about that one either. And then you go to something like Jeddah. Jeddah, yes, 2021. A fantastic spectacle. 2022, same thing. Great battles. But in 2023, it kind of fell off. 2024 also fell off, but there were more headlines about Oliver Behrman driving a Ferrari than they were about the actual race itself. And then you've got another flop potentially coming to the circus in 2026, the Madrid Grand Prix, which is taking over from Barcelona. I know a lot of FC Barcelona supporters are not going to like the sound of that. Now, the Madrid circuit, also known as the MADRING, is a very mad circuit because there's a banked corner, so many weird chicanes, so many walls. But again, this is a concept, but honestly, it doesn't look like the most entertaining track. In my opinion, it looks awful. And it's another one of those street circuits that Formula One might just have to get used to for the near future. Well, I'm together with the fans when we say that these street circuits over traditional and purpose-built tracks are not really improving the racing, but are more or less just there for money. And when it comes to larger audiences, well, it's debatable because these audiences mostly come from Drive to Survive. Otherwise, countries like America are mostly just into IndyCar or NASCAR or even basketball or baseball, whatever sports happen in America. But Formula One, their true fan base comes from countries like Germany, Italy. And I won't stop talking about Germany because Germany has been missing from the Formula One calendar since 2020. And this is a country that has got Mercedes. This is a country that has probably, to many people, the greatest of all time, Michael Schumacher. This is a country that is expecting Audi on the grid in 2026. And honestly, are you telling me that Germany doesn't have a larger fan base than a lot of these countries? Well, it's debatable. But again, other tracks may have been scrapped off because of economical issues. Well, they couldn't really afford to host these races, so it is understandable, but something can be done to make sure that they are able and stable enough to be on the Formula One calendar, because they are so needed. We have missed out on so many good tracks. You've got tracks like the Nürburgring, you've got Hockenheimring, which has the ability to produce fantastic races. You've got Sepang for the most unpredictable weather. Honestly, are you not entertained by some of the races that you have seen around those tracks? I could name so many interesting races from the tracks that have been scrapped off. If you just happen to agree with anything that has been said, just like the video. If you disagree and you have your own opinions, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. And also, if you want to see more content just like this, related to circuits, drivers, teams, and Grand Prix of the past, subscribe to this channel and you shall not miss out. Thank you for watching.